I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this.
Not at all.
Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit.
What?
I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Straight game, money over fame. Put it in accounts, double the amount on some Oprah shit. On occasion we be toasting, and what I'm sipping now the same color as the ocean is. Ride slow with the beat up, sister got her feet up. Head wrap with a skirt on when we meet up. It's really a play, my vibe reading South Central LA. And yeah, we got it cracking from the streets to the bay. All praises to Yahweh when I kneel and I pray, knowing it's all good. I teach truth and spread light in the hood, doing exactly what we want, they only do what they could. Common sense is genius dressed in this working clothes. It's like I work and work more, y'all just working clothes. A lot of bad attitudes and some broken souls. The city of fallen angels, guess that's how it goes.
Damn.
Jake's claiming that they own, and they crew is legit.
I bet.
I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this.
True Nation.
Not the
Yeah. Smooth shit.
Yeah. Pull up the block spinning. New ride in my girlfriend's master presidential inside.
Yeah.
Ray-Bans on my eyes.
On my eyes.
Weed and brews in charge. I don't know why they still be looking surprised. Add fuel to my fire, take it higher than they ever seen. My life a movie and I'm living out the best scenes. They call me cocky, in reality I'm confident. And every night we taking shots to our accomplishments.
Cheers.
A lot of food, put it on my plate. And baby pressing not to tell her to wait. She see the signs of the times and the world is so boring. I'd rather pull out the old schools and new foreigns. Tell me what you want, I'll tell you what you need. The mother niggas stuck, Bruce took the lead. I'm teaching on them streets that I used to run. And afterwards chilling with my Aki on. What's up? Jake's claiming that they own, and they crew is legit.
Yeah.
I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this.
Not at all.
Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit.
What?
I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Straight game, money over fame. Put it in accounts, double the amount on some Oprah shit. On occasion we be toasting, and what I'm sipping now the same color as the ocean is. Ride slow with the beat up, sister got her feet up. Head wrap with a skirt on when we meet up. It's really a play, my vibe reading South Central LA. And yeah, we got it cracking from the streets to the bay. All praises to Yahweh when I kneel and I pray, knowing it's all good. I teach truth and spread light in the hood, doing exactly what we want, they only do what they could. Common sense is genius dressed in this working clothes. It's like I work and work more, y'all just working clothes. A lot of bad attitudes and some broken souls. The city of fallen angels, guess that's how it goes.
Damn.
Jake's claiming that they own, and they crew is legit.
I bet.
I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this. Niggas say that they the bomb, and they really be lit. I see the things that they doing when they do it, but they don't do it like this.
True Nation.
up, the block spinning. New ride and my girlfriends match the presidential inside. Ray-Bans on my eyes. Weed and brews in charge. I don't know why they still be looking surprised. Add fuel to my fire, take it higher than they ever seen. My life a movie and I'm living out the best scenes. They call me cocky, in reality I'm confident. And every night we taking shots to our accomplishments. Cheers. A lot of food, put it on my plate. And baby pressing out to tell her to wait. She see the signs of the times and the world is so boring. I'd rather pull out the old schools and new forms. Ain't no ghetto without us. Revelation 2 and 9. Tell them.
Yeah, all my brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich. We headed back up to the tip top. Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up. Yeah.
My folks stayed in the Hoovers, I was born in the trades. I was raised in the hundreds, but I ain't never joined the gang. Affiliated, I was with it, I ain't played no games. Wasn't banging, but I had to show I ain't no lame. Copperworth Entertainment, yeah, I did my thing. Until I woke up to this truth and found out we still slaves. Niggas killing over colors, time to rise up for our brothers. Time to unify our hustles, time to lead our baby mothers out to lay like Nazareth. I was raised up out the gutter, for the homies I got locked up, not a word I never uttered. So for YASHARAHLA, yeah, you best believe I'll die. This ain't Christianity, you best believe I'll
ride. Yeah, all my brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich up. We headed back up to the tip top.
We rich.
Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up. Yeah.
Reclining my seats, I'm looking at the stars. Not too long ago was blowing kush about the car. Always wanted fame until I found the 12 stars. But now a nigga rich, the wisdom got me hella far. Looking back on my life, this shit is so surreal. Like I came up on the lotto, how a nigga feel. Keep the law as the motto, now tell me what's the deal. Riding smooth, diamond chain, compliment the wheels. Yeah, that's how we pull up fly. If my brothers got an issue, then I bet I ride. Even if I take a loss, you can bet I try. Cause I'ma get a couple off, and that's before
yeah,
I
all
die.
My brothers, yeah, we rich shock. We got the truth, we come from rich stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. Thy kingdom come, now watch it TikTok. We got this truth and now we rich up. We headed back up to the tip top. Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up. Yeah.
It's so cold in these streets, I take the heat outside. I keep a sword like Cephas, just believe I might. Ain't an army on this earth that can see these tribes. Dressed in warlike apparel, best believe we fly. It's time to get the doctrine right, it's time to feed these sheep. What we sowing to each other, that's what we gon' reap. Shit, you niggas claim you bout that life. Some niggas banging for the set, but I'm an Israelite. He full of pride and full of shit, then I'ma cut him on sight. Haku ain't never gotta tell me twice. I'm a soldier for Christ, and Mashiach the king is not to be mocked. I love my nation, but 2/3 of y'all can still get popped. Blah.
Desire one Ariala. YASHAMI. YASHARAHLA.
We got the truth and come from with stock. That's on my tribe, I never flip-flop. For kingdom come to watch it TikTok. We got the truth and now we rich up. We heading back up to the TikTok. Menorah golden, watch it drip drop. We in the hood, but now we rich up. Yeah.
Ain't no ghetto without us. Revelation 2 and 9.
just gotta let you know that you've been so good to me. And I know that I can't do it by myself. I need your love so desperately. It's been times I wanted to give up, but your words, they spoke to me. Fill my spirit, help me to believe, but sometimes I still get weak.
I need you to fill me up, until I overflow. The keeper of my way. I need you to fill me up. I need your love always, so I won't go astray. The keeper of my way. I know you know my thoughts. I know you know my flaws. Your love fills up every empty part of me that was hiding for so long. The love of my life, now I've evolved. I wanna be what you want, and by your strength I'll break down every wall. I need you to fill me up, until I overflow. The keeper of my way, the keeper of my way. I need you to fill me up. I need you. I need your love always, so I won't go astray. The keeper of my way. Can I get a witness? If you hear me say, if you feel me say,
If you feel me, say yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need you to fill me up, until I overflow. The keeper of my way. I need you to fill me up.
Lord, I need you.
I need your love always, so I won't go astray. The keeper of my way.
You're the keeper of my way. I know sometimes you wanna give up, 'cause you're tired and fed up, but joy comes in time. Don't get weary, you gotta endure, 'cause one day you'll suffer no more. Let him give you peace, let his wisdom give you guidance. Give all your worries to him. I'm trying to tell you, 'cause I've been there, and by his grace I'm still here. 'Cause you got to hold on, and don't you get weak, you can hold on.
strong. Just know it won't be long. Don't be hasty, it's a marathon. Just hold on to his hand and let him give you peace. Let his wisdom give you guidance. Give all your worries to him. Don't get weary, 'cause I've been there, and by his grace I'm still here. 'Cause you got to hold on. Don't you get weak, you can hold on. You're gonna make it. Be strong. You don't have to cry. Hold on. We can make it. Hold on. Hold on. Be strong. Hold on. Hold on. Be strong. Yeah. 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 'Cause he said in his word, hold on. Cast your cares upon him. Hold on. Hold on. Be strong. We can make it. Hold on. Hold on. You can make it. Hold on. Gotta believe.
All right. Again, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Glad to see everybody. Thankful for everybody who is tuning in online right now. We appreciate the support. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe to our channels. We're found on YouTube and Facebook at True Nation Israelite Congregation. Send us to a friend, family member, co-worker, anybody who needs to hear this. It is prime time. We got Kanye out here telling everybody we the Jews. We are Jews too. It's not that we are Jews too. We are the Jews, right? Them so-called white people are not the real Jews. But it's a beautiful thing, though. The Most High has his spirit going throughout this earth. More and more people are waking up. I hope just off the strength of Kanye saying that blacks and Latinos are the real Jews, we have new viewers tonight, you know? But, yeah, Khan, all praises. All praise be to the Most High. But I'm thankful and grateful to be here again before you guys. We have a good topic that we're getting into. Got a good topic that we're getting into. And it's crazy as we see more and more of the prophecies of the Most High, you know, being fulfilled, you know, especially like things concerning judgment upon the earth. We seen what COVID did. It changed low-key the whole earth, right? Imagine what the next plague is going to do. And then the next one, and then the next one. Because we know it's like the birthing pains that it was talked about. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until finally that baby comes out, a.k.a. our King Yahweh Shai coming back to deliver our people. So it's important that we really, really lock in with these lessons, lock in with these scriptures,
and find ourselves doing the things that's pleasing unto the Most High, right? And that's the thing that I like about this walk that we're in. For one, it's a walk, so we're not expected to have certain things like right away. It's a walk, right? But the Most High gave us a blueprint and said, all you have to do is just read about the righteous people who I loved and be like them, and don't be like the people who you read about in the scriptures who I hated or disliked. Super simple. But with that being said, you know, we're going to jump into tonight's topic, and the title is called The Scorpion King. Lesson is called The Scorpion King. Let's go over to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. I know some of y'all probably thinking, what the heck? The Scorpion King. But it holds water, right? It's actually a metaphor for what we as people, both male and female, have to overcome in this walk. And you guys understand more as we go through the lesson. But let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, and give me verse 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
So though we walk in the flesh, I'm looking at y'all right now. This is flesh. I'm holding this microphone. Y'all looking at me. I'm looking at y'all. This is the flesh that we dealing with. It says, though we walk in this, we don't war after this. Our real warfare has nothing, well, not nothing, but it has little to do with this actual flesh. We have to understand that. Go ahead.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations.
So it said a lot of our warfare actually has to do with what we think and spiritual, right? It has to do with the spiritual side of things. It says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It's not like we sitting here trying to load up on pistols and this and that to really take over the world, because we know it's impossible. The Most High said, defend yourself, right? We still had warriors in Israel, but we knew that the Most High at the end of the day is the one who fought our battles for us. But this current war that we're in is not so much physical as it is spiritual and mental. That's why I said mighty through the Most High to pulling down the strongholds, casting down imaginations. Go ahead.
And every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God.
And it said against every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High. Read.
And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahushua.
You see, that's the real war that we're in. That's the struggle and the fight that we be having to make sure all of our thoughts and all of our actions is actually brought down to the same subjection that Christ was under. Christ couldn't just be out here doing whatever he wanted because he just felt that way. I'm pretty sure Christ had some bad days, and he wasn't like, you know what, I'm just willing to risk it all and do this because this is how I'm feeling. He said, nah, I had to hold myself accountable, right, and remember the mission that I'm on. So this is the actual warfare that we fighting today. Now the question is concerning our women, because it's very much clear what our brothers is facing, right? You can see brothers being shot down in the street. You can see brothers being openly discriminated against. You can see the hatred towards Israelite men. It's clear. But what warfare is our sisters under? Because believe it or not, our enemies have waged war against y'all as well. The war that they've waged against y'all is they've actually tried to completely take away y'all femininity and y'all virtue. That's the war that's been waged against our women, believe it or not. I know it's common and it's popular to be this single woman who don't need a man for nothing and you strong and independent, but I never read about that type of woman in the Bible. But this is the women, or that's the idea of the woman that our women want to be like today. So that's why I want to ask y'all, sisters, just real quick, who do y'all aspire to be in the scriptures? Go ahead, Marquita. Sister said Judith. Why? Check, check. My bad, sis. We got people online.
Just because I think her story is beautiful. She was very faithful to the Most High, devoted to the law, devoted to her husband even in his death.
God.
And the Most High saw her heart and how pure she was in her spirit and used her to save her people. And I just think it's a beautiful story and a beautiful thing to be used that way as a woman.
All praise be to the Most High. Who you aspire to be like, Mama? Ooh, okay.
That's, she didn't have a name. They didn't give her a name, did they?
Not that I could recall.
Right, but that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 Maccabees chapter 7.
Oh.
Mama Maccabee. That's right.
Yeah, okay, that's who I would
So
like
what
to
about
like.
that, though? What makes you want to be like that woman?
Wow, man, this woman was strong. She was a strong woman. To watch your children killed, not just killed, but tortured in front of you, and you are able to endure that, you know? So I thought she was just awesome.
Con. Next sister.
I would have.
Okay, that's a good one. Con. Con. That's right. That's right. All praises. Last one. Who you aspire to be like, baby? Yeah. If the light is on, it's on.
No, now it's on. Is it on? Okay. I agree with Marquita, like, to be like Judith, and my reasoning, it sounds simple, but honestly, like, how the way she was able to, like, fast many days, I want to get to that point.
Con. And that's a good thing. And the thing that I love about, the sisters that y'all chose was they're all excellent examples on how they believed in something that was bigger than themselves. They actually cared more about the people than their actual selves. And that's such a refresher for us to have women today who are aspiring to be like that, because it's the complete opposite in 2022. The idea of a woman today has everything to do with being selfish, not caring about others. Like, it's all the wrong things. So to hear sisters and actually see sisters taking the necessary steps to be great women, give yourselves a round of applause. Y'all been taking the sisterhood to new heights, keeping each other accountable, having real deal spiritual conversations, asking each other what can we do to get better and reach that mark. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm happy to see that happening, because the more that y'all practice that, guess what? The little ones, that's the example that they're following. We don't want to have to hear none of our kids talking about, I want to be like Cardi B or be like Nicki Minaj when I grow up. They should want to be like, you know what? I want to be like Mama Mary. And then when you're talking to Mama Mary is trying to be like such and such in the scriptures, right? So it's all righteous, and I just love to see it. But in actuality, that's what they want to take away from our people. That's the war that's been said. So let's get some scriptures on this, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 7. Sirach 26 and 7.
Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 7. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
It says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. Do y'all know what that yoke is referring to? Similar, yeah. Not necessarily the yoke of iron, but yeah, exactly. When you get into the definition of a yoke, it says a wooden bar or frame by which two draft animals, such as oxen, are joined at the heads or necks for working together, right? So it already prefaces with a wife. This is someone who has a husband, and they're supposed to be working together. Now it says an evil wife is like a yoke shaken to and fro. If you got two animals together trying to pull a load to make it easier, and you got one going buck wild and shaking, how easy is it going to be to pull that load? It's not going to be easy, right? It's going to be harder because now you got to compensate for what's going on this side and the load behind you. So it says that's what it's like having an evil wife. And unfortunately, that's what's being taught to our people. Our young girls are being raised in captivity, this land of America, Babylon the Great, to be evil wives, right? But read on.
He that have hold of her is as though he held a scorpion.
So the person who actually has hold of an evil woman as a wife, it says it's as if you're holding a scorpion. Now, for one, how many of us actually want to hold a scorpion? Generally, you stay far away from animals like that, right? And insects like that. But here's the coldest part. Most scorpions aren't deadly. So you're just going to keep getting stung, and it won't be to death. But it's a long and grievous life, right? Thinking of it in that sense. It's only a handful of scorpions that are like poisonous like that to where if they sting you, you'll die. So with understanding this, the scorpion king, right? As the women of Israel, you guys want to overcome being that scorpion. That's what y'all don't want to be, and that's what you guys have been working towards, right? And as men, if you're in a situation where you have one, you want to make sure that you know how to overcome that as well, so you don't allow the foolishness on that side to bring you down and cost you your salvation, right? So with that, let's go over to the book of 2 Ezra chapter 2. And I think, more conversations should be had as to who we aspire to be. It's really important to have, inspiration and to be inspired by things because it makes you want to be better than what you already are. It gives you a mark to actually work towards. It gives you goals and things that you could work on so that you could be a better individual for somebody else, right? And you wonder why they give us the poorest role models out of all Israel. They find the drug dealers and the strippers to be role models for our people. It's sad. If our foremothers was here today, do you know how ashamed they would be to look at their daughters? They would be ashamed. Ashamed. And it's unfortunate because we downplay our oppressor and his tactics of war. We act as if like, the things we've been taught growing up really doesn't have no big effect on me like that. But then coming into this truth, you see actually how hard it is to throw off that old person because the programming is real. If America had it their way, they would have it to where all of our women would be single, would never have a husband, never have kids, and only be focused on their careers. And that's sad, right? So let's read that, 2 Ezra chapter 2, and we're going to start verse 15.
2 Ezra chapter 2 and verse 15. Mother, embrace thy children.
So the Most High is actually speaking to the mother, saying, look, embrace your children. Embrace them. Don't try to shove them off and put them away. Embrace them. Because if you don't, there's somebody in the world who will. And they're hoping, Esau is hoping that's what the case is. So embrace the children. Go ahead.
And bring them up with gladness.
Bringing them up with gladness. When we're talking about our culture, our kids should not be looking outward and be impressed by things of the world. They should be looking inward and be like, man, I'm happy I'm not out there. I remember Kahan was talking about that a couple years ago. Like, there's no way our kids being 15, 16 should be looking forward to a prom. They should be looking more forward to a Passover or a feast of dedication. We're supposed to bring them up with gladness of heart, really instilling in them that spirit of righteousness, and they should be happy knowing that they are Israelite, having the heritage of the Most High. And we should too, as their parents. If we make the Most High look boring and inconvenience, that's how they're going to perceive things as well. But now if you showing up on feast days and you talking about the feast days and you got happiness on you and mirth, man, the kids is going to follow that same thing. They're like sponges, right? So go ahead.
Make their feet as fast as a pillar. For I have chosen thee, saith the Lord.
A lot of times the common thought that is put out there in the world is that the women think that they're less than the men. As if, the Most High only chose the men to do such and such. And that's not the case. The Most High said, I chose you specifically for this. Do you think Jesus Christ could have been the man that he was when he died without his mother? No. She had to do a hell of a job raising him up and instilling within him things that was going to allow him to make it to the end, to that cross. Imagine if she would have raised him up in fear. Be scared of everything. If someone's talking mean to you, just put your head down and run away. Imagine if that's what she was bringing her son up with. But you see Christ going to the top of the top. He was talking to the leaders boldly. So that means that the way he was brought up had a big part to do with that.
It's crazy because you see a lot of accounts of Mary dealing with Yahushua, and you see less of Joseph. But we know Joseph was doing his part because his wife was doing her part. So, you know, she played a major role in Yahushua's life.
Real talk. Just because the Most High has made the men as the apple of his eye, you know, he said the pasture of my flock are men, it doesn't mean that he cares less about the women. There's even laws talking about if you was to bring up evil reports and lying on the sisters of Israel, how you can get put to death for that. So it's not that the Most High regards y'all as just these little itty-bitty things. And I love how Bishop Tizayawan even broke that down. He said he called you the weaker vessels, not weak. Y'all still strong, but just not as strong as the man. And there's reasons for that. He said, I'm going to make you a lot stronger than the man when rearing up these kids. The kids usually supposed to go off to the fathers once they get a little bit older and they out in the field, right? But growing up, you within the schools, the communities, and the mothers. That's where you learn all of that. But it's a beautiful thing when we actually do it how the Bible tells us to do it. So we just want to keep our sisters, you know, motivated to actually love what the Most High chose y'all for. It's a beautiful thing. And especially we're seeing it work live in action. I've been seeing these kids grow up for the last 8 years, and I'm like, man, shout out to the moms. Because they easily could have been on some BS and had the kids on some other stuff. But y'all stay in the course and teaching them that which is pleasing to the Most High. Beautiful thing. Right?
Absolutely.
And it's important that we continue to do that and actually get even better at it, right? Because we can always get better. We can always improve. And that's why the Bible actually says we're supposed to abound in all things, right? Really getting these kids to understand the importance of marriage, right? Because you can raise your kid to be an excellent adult, right? An excellent business person, excellent this and that. But man, are they going to be a good wife? Are they going to be a good husband? These are also parts of rearing up the children that we have to focus on, right? Teaching the young girls early, being jealous is not a holy trait. Don't be jealous of other women. Be so secure in what you have to bring into the table that you're not even worried about nobody else like that. Knowing that you bring in this man peace, knowing that you're going to help him with the works of the Most High. These are all the things that we have to instill within the kids because guess what? The marriages, and I don't even know why it's not talked about as much, marriages are pillars to the community that withhold or uphold the nation. Well, you couldn't have a nation with no marriages. But again, everybody's focused on themselves. Everybody want to be single and everybody want to mingle. We're losing that way. Right? But let's read this. Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 44. And this is a cold proverb. You know, sometimes we read certain passages in the Bible, and as we say, we get cut, right? But it's real. And the Most High has these things written down for us so that we can be admonished and know, like, you know what, I can do some tightening up. Even if I'm on my job, I can even be even more on my job. Well, let's read this. Watch this.
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 44.
Behold, everyone that useth these proverbs shall use this proverb against thee.
So it says, for anybody who has a proverb, they're going to use this proverb against us. What does it say?
Saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
What does that mean, sisters?
I think it means that, you know, the mothers raise their daughters as they are. So if the mother is a wicked woman, then she's going to raise up a wicked daughter, and vice versa. A righteous woman is going to raise up a righteous daughter.
Exactly. Whatever the mother is, whatever quality mother that person is, that's exactly how the kid is going to come out, whether it be good or bad. And that's why I said it's so important that we actually rear up these kids. Not doing it like some part-time job, but really taking on the fullness of it, saying, you know what, it's my job to raise up this Israelite soul so that they could be the best that they could be. It says, behold, everyone that uses proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter. And it's cold because here we are in a generation of Instagram models and all of that, which is really, it's just whoring, right? You're getting paid to be naked online. What do you think these daughters are going to grow up doing? What do you think these sons is going to grow up doing? Chasing and being that exact thing that they saw growing up. And it's sad. Our women think it's more important to be cute than smart. It's a whole lot of fine women, and they really be dumb as a box of rocks. Don't know nothing about nothing because they body and they face is just paying their way through life. They getting with the highest bidder and letting them have at it with their body just so that they can have a decent life. But no real substance. That's not the type of life that we should be having in mind for our kids. This next generation of women, this next generation of men. Right? Let's go over to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6. Actually, I'm sorry, 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 8. There shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again. And the wild beasts shall change their places.
These is all things that's currently happening. You can see reports about it from everywhere. A whole bunch of fires happening, a whole bunch of bears and stuff coming in people's communities, eating them up. All type of stuff. But read on.
And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. If the kid is not being reared up inside the home, they're going to listen to somebody, and it's going to be somebody without who doesn't have the commandments. So really, you're getting the same result. But the Most High holds us accountable for things like that. We don't want to have a situation where True Nation women are bringing up monsters. Kids who are unruly, have no respect for authority. Kids who hate the Most High within their heart. Monsters. Y'all see the kids out there today? Horrible. You should have seen these little dudes when we was out there last Saturday. Young Jakes out there getting high off of, what was it? The air cans that you, the computer dusters.
Computer cleaner, yeah.
Nas. They doing all type of weird drugs. And they out there, the Elder Tazarah was trying to get his young brother the word. And he was out there like, get it away from me. As soon as some nonsense happened with us, he all up there with the camera mocking and stuff. Just evil kids. Evil. We don't want that situation amongst us. And the way that we keep that out is doing exactly what y'all doing, which is holding each other accountable and making sure that you living by the scriptures. It's really that simple. We just got to take ourselves out of the equation and focus on the will of the Most High. When your will becomes the will of the Most High, you don't look at this as grievous. The only time it's grievous to somebody is if you still thinking something else outside of this is more important. That's the only thing. Was that all of that? Read it one more time.
There shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again. And the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
You see, the Most High found it to be important to talk about the mind state of the women, right? Unclean, dealing with y'all menstrual, unclean mind states, unclean souls, just being completely defiled. We live in a first world country where our women are more free than ever, yet they feel all the more oppressed and have it within their heart that they low-key hate men. And you know what's unfortunate? Our foremothers didn't think like that. We went through slavery together, picking cotton. At what point did you turn to hate me? But that's because they've bought into the programming of our oppressor. Our oppressor made our women believe that we was being treated unfairly, even though the husband and wife was on the same plantation. That's why when they started doing the women's liberation marches and all of that, There was nothing for our women to be liberated from us from. We didn't own anything like that. We was all working together, slaving together. It was the Edomite women who was tired of working for their Edomite husbands and wanted their own. But that's why the scriptures say, don't envy your oppressor and choose none of his ways. Because it's destroyed us, and for them, it seems like they still flourishing.
Right, it never happened for them.
It never happened. But here it is. I don't see in record numbers a bunch of Edomite women raising kids up as a single mother. Mm-hmm. But you see that, you know, as a plague within our communities. And it's so messed up because women nowadays, they'll have 3-4 different baby daddies and still have it in their mind to where they feel like they deserve a man that's going to do this, this, and that for them. It's really a sad case. It's really a sad case. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6. And this is really what it boils down to, because when I said they're trying to take away our femininity, right, they've made it seem like being feminine is weak when it's really powerful, really powerful. Some of the most powerful men in the Bible had feminine, soft women. They couldn't be the men that they was. Not that they couldn't, but look what they went out to achieve by having those wives who were those things for them. Abraham wasn't looking for a boss, B-I-T-C-H. Right? Jacob wasn't looking for a woman who was worried about her career. But instead, he found women who cared about the Most High and wanted to build his house. That's what we need to get back focused on. So it's a war between the traditional woman, which is the righteous woman, the woman of old, versus the modern woman, which is what we're dealing with today. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way.
You see, how many of us, even in this, we know about the Bible, we know about the Most High's righteousness, but we still try to find modern ways about going about things. He said, go about doing things the old way, the good way. We got to seek the old path. Mm-hmm. And that'd be the main thing our people be saying, well, I'm not my grandmother. I'm not this. It's like, you need to be. You should be. Your grandmother was a better quality woman compared to you. Mm-hmm. And that's a fact. She cooked for her kids. She loved her kids. She didn't cheat on her husband. She provided her kids safety and love. You giving your kids Jordans, this, that, but you introducing them to all these different men throughout the years. That's not comforting to a kid. It's comforting when the kid knows that they're going to come home and see mommy and daddy, not mommy and Ray Ray, and now it's Dante and whoever. That's not comforting to a kid. And that breeds confusion, because now that kid's going to grow up thinking, well, you know, my mom, she had to get it out the mud. I could do it just like that. But you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Don't be that scorpion. Be that old woman, the woman of old, the righteous, virtuous woman. Go ahead.
And walk therein.
And walk therein. We need to be doing the things that our foremothers and forefathers was doing. We don't have to reinvent things. That's the simplicity of it all. You don't have to reinvent what marriage is. You don't have to reinvent what love is, right? Go ahead.
And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls.
And we're wondering why we're so tired. We're trying to go about things in a way that's not natural, and it's making us extremely, extremely tired. I think it was Shamar. I think either him or Kabash a couple of years ago was showing me a poem that they wrote. And we was basically just talking about, you know, how many times our souls, we don't know how many times our souls have been here on this earth, and maybe that's why we're so tired. The thing is, we keep bumping our head. The Most High is giving us chance and chance again to do it the right way, which is seeking that old path. And he said at that point, we could find rest for our souls. Go ahead.
But they say.
But our people say.
We will not walk therein.
I don't know why we do this, y'all. I'm not confused. Nobody could convince me that we are not the children of Israel. Nobody. Because we do things that don't make any sense. We've been doing things the last 300-400 years, and it hasn't been working. Any other nation of people would have been changed it. They would have tried something different. We've been in captivity 400 years, something we not doing right, but still in 2022, they're telling us that, no, you guys are making, you're making progress. That part. After 400 years, you go into bad business for 2 years, you pull out. But still, we're following these same vain and dead ways to free ourselves.
Out of all the things that Kanye West said and all the things that he's lost, our people seem to focus on the negative things. He lost $2 billion. He's not a billionaire no more, right? He lost his deal with Balenciaga, Adidas, right? But they don't focus on what he was saying. He said, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the Jewish people because they stay married. They do business with each other. They don't abort their children. He named all the things that we go through in the black community, black and Latino community. And yet our people focus on the things that make him who he is, or so-called make him who he is. And call him crazy. But he's really trying to tell our people, like, we the children of God. And this is how we should operate as a people. He's even mad that his ex-wife had to be put on certain platforms to show her tail. He's mad about that, but there's nothing he could do about it because she got handlers telling her, you should do this because sex sells. But he's against that. But that's what our people seem to focus on, the negative. We won't walk therein.
Literally. And it's sad when you talking to somebody and we was talking about this last week, how we're coming into a time period where there's not going to be room for people to play the middle no more, right? Because that's what people have been able to do under the guise of Christianity. Oh, I'm God-fearing. I'm a Christian. It's getting to that point to where the Most High is going to start putting things in front of us to where people are either going to say, I hate God, or I'm going to submit. And you'd be surprised. You have conversations with people, and you'd be like, hey, you know you're really supposed to be doing this, and that. You can't be doing this on the Sabbath. They'd be like, well, such and such, I got to do this. And I'd be like, damn, so basically just F God. They'd be like, yeah. Man, I'm telling you. We living in some crazy times. We are living in some crazy times. And that's why, I feel like lessons like this are important because it's so much emphasis put on the men and what we struggle with and things that we're fighting through and fighting for. But sometimes, sisters, y'all got to see what, y'all being actually attacked and what you got to defend from and work through and break through. The water. Man, the Bible says that this is Israel's worst captivity. Worst. By far. This is our longest captivity and our worst. All the other captivities that you could read about, I think the longest one was the Assyrian captivity. But all the rest of them, like 40 years, 20 years, 10 years, and the Most High freed us. We've been here for 400 plus years. We not doing something right. But it's sad because instead of humility coming into our souls, pride is being flexed and pumped out. And people are now mad at God because of what we lack to change. And especially our sisters, right? But all praises, that's not nothing that we dealing with here. Go to 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5.
First Peter chapter 3 and verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also.
The holy women. How many of y'all actually want to be deemed holy by the Most High? It's a specific life you got to live, right?
Set apart. Can't act like a city girl.
Yeah, you can't. It says in this manner. Like, when the Most High was separating Jacob and Esau, he said 2 manner of people are within your womb. We have to act after the mannerisms after our foreparents that were righteous. Watch this. Go ahead.
For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in the Most High.
Who trusted in their job.
Who trusted in the Most High.
Who trusted in money.
Trusted in the Most High.
That's a huge focus of our sisters today, is their careers. But we still haven't even attained that level of faith to where if we fully do what the Most High told us to do, we don't believe that he'll take care of us. The holy women also who trusted in the Most High. Go ahead.
Adorned themselves.
This is how they made themselves beautiful. Go ahead.
Being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Read.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Sarah obeyed Abraham. She didn't just listen sometimes. She obeyed him. But he was worthy of being, he was worthy of the obedience because he was a righteous man. I remember when me and you, Marquita, we was having that conversation at Bosch House about like why Laban would even offer his 2 daughters to Jacob. And it was like, because, man, Jacob was a righteous man. All of the other stuff is superficial. We get into relationships and all of these soul ties and bonds for a life over foolishness. Sisters be like, oh, man, we would look cute together. I got to live with you for the rest of my life. I don't care if we look cute together. Are we going to work good together? Are you going to listen to me? Are you going to do the things that I'm telling you to do? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to stop doing that? And like, oh, she got dimples. Like some of the just most superficial stuff. Our foreparents had a little bit more, wisdom. Fortunately, we have a beautiful nation. It's not like you got to search high and low to find somebody beautiful within Israel. But we've gotten so caught up in the idea of I need to have my own man that you passing up on the right man. Marriage at its most base level is not even about love, to be honest. It's about survival. Because the fact of the matter is a 60-year-old woman compared to a 60-year-old man, one is going to be able to take care of themselves a little bit better as time goes on. Mm-hmm. Having the arranged marriages, you already know what the situation is. They come from a good stock of people. They have resources. Her mother is virtuous. Of course the daughter's going to be virtuous. I want my son to have her. These are how marriages actually used to go down. Making these contracts between families. But now it's just like, oh, yeah, she got a fat booty. I heard he packing. I need that. For real, for real. And then we wonder why we got so many unsuccessful marriages. Yep. I believe they said at this point, 1 in 4 black women will marry. That's pathetic. That means 75% of women is going to be single and going to die alone. But divorce is also the highest thing running in our communities as well. I believe it's at like 60%. Mm-hmm. So for those who are getting married, of the 25%, a lot of them not even staying married. That's never what the Most High intended for us to do or deal with. Right? Last time I checked, the Bible said we was heir togethers, but read on.
Adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Calling him Lord. She never called Abraham out of his name. She never cussed him out. Never belittled him. She called him Lord. Go ahead.
Whose daughters ye are.
And this is the cold part. Because I see a lot of sisters, they be claiming it. I'm a daughter of Sarah. Read on.
Salakia. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well.
As long as ye do well. Our foremother said, if you caught up in a life full of nonsense, do not claim me as your foremother. You are not my daughter. Mm-hmm. You are a daughter of Sarah as long as you do well. And that's what you guys have been pushing for, to actually do well. We done came a long way with the sisterhood. I'm honestly happy and I'm proud of what we're building here as far as the community and culture. For real, for real. But sisters got to understand that. It's like the same thing they try to do with Jesus. You just try to make Jesus love you. I know Jesus loved me. No, you don't. No, you do not. Christ said, I love you if you do my commandments. It's crazy. But same thing with the sisters. You can't just sit here and claim that you a virtuous daughter of Sarah if you're not doing the things that your foremother did. Read on.
And are not afraid with any amazement.
Go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
And that's why I said, even as men, we have a part to play in this, being the king of scorpions. At some points in time, you may find yourself in a situation with a difficult woman, but you need to dwell with them according to knowledge. You already know what the Bible says. There's certain arguments and things you don't even need to entertain because it's not fruitful. At the end of the day, the Most High said, I'm in charge. Take what you want. Where do we go from here? When you get to the point where y'all, man, really lashing out, just going berserk, then it becomes unfruitful and the kids is looking at this. Word starts to spread. Other people think it's cool to do, right? And that's not the case, but go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife.
Right, and we give honor unto the women. We appreciate and respect y'all when y'all do well. Go ahead.
As unto the weaker vessel. And as being heirs together of the grace of life.
Yep.
That your prayers be not hindered.
Exactly. So for sisters, remember that you and your husband are supposed to be heirs together. It's not like you get in the kingdom and F him. I don't like what he says. So, no, it's heirs together. We got to learn how to work together because that's what a marriage is. It's a business. It's a smaller business under the business of the Most High. So we got to, have some work protocol in order and know how we're going to go about handling this business. Right? Go over to the book of First. Yes. Sure. Let's read verse 8.
Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous.
No problem. Thank you. And the thing is, when this is how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. A lot of times, when Esau is trying to make our women be those scorpions, it's because they're lacking these things. They're not courteous to one another, not courteous to their husbands, right? Not having compassion, understanding that we're both in captivity. It's unfair how much pressure a lot of times the women of Israel put on the men as if we're not in captivity too. You need to make this happen, nigga. Like, bro, we gonna get it. And that's why the Bible also says godliness with contentment is great gain. This may not be our portion to have the super big house on the lake with a 50-foot boat. This may not be our lot in this life for that. You might have had it in your past life. You never know. Don't be greedy. But work for the kingdom and you're going to have it forever. The priorities of the modern woman is not focused on the will of the Most High. And that's just a fact. It's all about what she can get today and how she can please her soul and satisfy herself today. And it's not profitable. It's not. The Most High, even in a state of captivity, gives us so many Sabbaths and opportunities while doing the work to have a gang of fun. I've been pitching it to brothers recently. I said, hey, we need to start taking some True Nation cruises. While we're on the boat, let's have a blast. Chill, relax, crack jokes, drink. And we still going to have conversation with people on the boat. But wherever we touch down, boots on the ground. We doing flyer missions, heavy, reaching the people. The Most High gives us so many avenues to have fun while doing the works. So it's not like you just living some super boring life serving the Most High. It's all what you make out of it. For real, for real. Let's go to Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8 and verse 1.
Luke chapter 8 and verse 1. And it came to pass afterward that he went throughout every city and village, preaching and showing the glad tidings of the kingdom of the Most High. And the 12 were with him, and certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils, and Joanna, the wife of Cuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others which ministered unto him of their substance.
Did y'all know that we actually had sisters in the Bible who ministered unto Christ and ministered unto the apostles? It says, and many others which ministered unto him of their substance. Finding those new levels of virtue as a woman of Israel, not being that scorpion, really appreciating the brothers that's doing this work. That was the last thing brothers had to worry about, was trying to find some food to eat, because they had people that was there saying, brothers, y'all here putting this work, we got you. We don't have much, but this is our substance and we're willing to give it to you. And I know it's a sacrifice, right? And that's why I love our sister Lisa, because she opens her house up to people, right? Love that sister for that. And so much that I actually want to model my situation just like that. I have so much fun over at her house, and I see that the joy that it brings Israel. I'm like, man, when I get in a good situation, I want that exact same thing. It's a sacrifice, but man, you ministering unto the prophets that way.
Come on.
You don't think the Most High appreciates when y'all cook for the prophets? And the cool part is, we not even the type of jakes who really be out here boasting ourselves like, pee on my chest, prophet, bow down. We be walking around humble. We don't flex ourselves. But the Most High appreciates when y'all look out for us. That's why we always send up the prayers saying, bless the hands that serve in the back. That's a big deal. If it wasn't, it wouldn't have been jotted down in the Bible. It even gave their names. Now imagine you being able to read yourself like, oh yeah, Marquita serving such and such, and Mama Mary serve. Like, man, that's an honor. That is an honor. We want to also reach those levels of virtue amongst all the sisterhood, to where it should be like, man, please come and eat here. Bless my household. For real, for real. Watch this. Go to Acts chapter 16 and verse 13.
Acts chapter 16 and verse 13. And on the Sabbath, we went out of the city by a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made. And we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither. And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshipped the Most High, heard us.
So this was a sister that was there, and she heard what was going on. She was already a godly woman. She seen what the prophets was doing. She said, I need to go over here, join myself unto them. Read.
Whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. And when she was baptized, and her household, she besought us, saying, if ye have judged me to be faithful to the Lord.
Now check this out, y'all. She was already a godly woman. Already a godly woman. She feared the Most High. She got baptized by the apostles, her and her whole house, right? And she besought them. They was leaving. She was running after them, saying, hey, look, if you guys have found me worthy, go ahead.
If you judge me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us.
You know how many sisters in the world would have a problem with that today? I don't even know these names. They gonna stay how long? But this is a righteous thing, though, finding those new levels of virtue, really appreciating those who go out and do the works, opening up your homes. We got people flying in from all over trying to come and learn under the banner of True Nation, and all praise be to the Most High for that. Hopefully someday soon we can have a situation where as the church we can start housing people by the masses, right? But until then, we have a bunch of households within this house that should be more than willing to open up their houses for those who are going out, waking up our people, right? So it's like all these little smaller levels of virtue that we also have to pay attention to and build ourselves up to, right? Always abounding. Always abounding. That's a beautiful thing. She said, man, stay here. And it said, and she constrained us. She made sure that they was solid when they was staying there too. Yep. Beautiful thing. And I love to see that, right? Now, we got to start dealing with the modern woman, because this is what the women of old did that the Most High loved them, that we really don't see too much of anymore, unfortunately. But this is what we do see, the modern woman. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 4.
Go on.
Verse 16.
Salakia. Chapter 1?
No, 4. Isaiah 3 and 16.
Come. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
Haughty. Y'all write that word down, and y'all look that up in your free time. The daughters of Zion began to be haughty. Go ahead.
And walk with stretched forth neck. And wanton eyes.
Wanton. Y'all look that one up in y'all spare time. And don't just read the first definition. Really read into them. And do that self-reflection. Like, man, have I ever been acting like this?
Yep.
Have I ever found myself conducting or being under the manner of this? If so, stop it immediately. Because when you actually read Isaiah chapter 3, this is about the judgment that came on our people. Some people will read this and be like, yeah, that's how we were supposed to be. No, this was a judgment. But read on.
Can I read that definition?
Come.
Wanton?
Come.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to read it. Wanton, this is the first definition. Deliberate and unprovoked.
Let's just build off of that one.
Go ahead.
You ever heard the term, I might be butchering it. I think it says there's nothing scarier than a black woman scorned or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hell hath no fury like a black woman scorned. What the definition say?
It says deliberate and unprovoked.
There's so many situations that I'm pretty sure we've heard about or even been in ourselves to where the outcome and from where it started, it shouldn't even got there. Completely unprovoked. Taking stuff from a 0 to 100, unprovoked, yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
But really dealing with the mind state of our women. 9 times out of 10, they instantly in defense mode, unprovoked. Instantly in attack mode, unprovoked. Keep going.
Second definition, sexually unrestrained or having many casual sexual relationships.
You know, they actually try to shame you for shaming whores. As a woman in 2022, and it's unfortunate, but it's really sad. Yeah, and this is, man, I came up in LAUSD. I went to Perry Middle School. This is 8th grade, where for sure, you can go to the back of the handball courts and get your issue.
I went to Washington. The 3rd floor is where it was cracking.
And this is over 15 years ago.
Yes.
I'm 27 now.
Mm-hmm.
I could only imagine what the kids is doing. I knew plenty of chicks that was pregnant in 9th grade, 10th grade. I can only imagine what it's like now. If, as a woman, if you're still a virgin, they'll try to clown you. They'll call you lame.
Yep.
All of that.
They was on T.I. because he was making sure that his daughter held her virginity.
Calling them weird.
All type of stuff.
But for you to be a promiscuous woman out here giving your body away, now it's okay and you're cool. This is what society is today. And the idea that our people have fully taken on. It's unfortunate. What else?
A sexually unrestrained woman. Behave in a sexually unrestrained way.
Yeah. Because at one point in time, there used to be a whole lot of, I guess, excitement you would get from dealing with a woman because you knew possibly where it could go. And 9 times out of 10, a woman was modest. You couldn't see everything that she had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you just go to a girl Instagram. You ain't got to ask for the panty and bra photos no more because she already gave it to the gram.
That's true.
I'm serious. I used to have to work hard for that type of stuff back in the day.
In the world, yeah, you have to work hard for it.
On my skateboard. Had to work hard. Like, man, come on, hit the DM, send me things. Like, I don't know. Now, Instagram, man, it's sad. Yeah, right, models. It's Sad.
Right.
Was that all of that?
Yeah, that was it.
Let's go back to Isaiah 3 and read on.
Con. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
It said the pride of our women got so obnoxious that he had to do something about it. And what did he decide to do?
Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts.
And it's sad. The same thing that the Most High used to humble us, we instead found pride. Most High made you bald? Well, I'm going to just go get a 32-inch blonde weave. I'll show you, God. I'm serious. Sisters be having issues down there with their secret parts, but there's all type of products out there that talk about how they can get your WAP right. For real, for real. Most High use these things to humble our sisters, and they found an alternative route to even find themselves with more pride. The whores out there on Fig right now, they got long weaves. And they doing some abominable stuff. That's why, man, we gotta really, really tap into the scriptures and fix our minds. Like, it's crazy because we was having a conversation the other day about how we still fight against this truth. The Bible says when you repent, you're supposed to become a new creature as a babe, right? The slate was wiped clean. Kids generally don't have an option in what they're being taught and how they're being raised. Their opinions is limited. But as easy it is for us to guide and direct kids, we don't put ourselves in that same mindset, and we actually fight against the teachings and the things that we're being taught. You know, for example, the whole, and it's not for all sisters, because a lot of sisters are coming to grips with it, like, okay, cool, this is part of our culture, the Most High is cool with it. But polygyny, if you're born again as a newborn babe, and I'm coming to my daughter and I'm telling her, hey, this is what it's like, imagine her being like, no, hell no, can't. That's not for a kid to do, not for a fresh mind to do. We're supposed to be fully open to righteous teachings, of course. But that's why Paul said if they don't receive the tradition after us, because we giving you what our forefathers doing, he said at that point you could reject it. But if what you're being fed is righteous, there's no need to fight against it. That's how you end up becoming a scorpion. And you don't want to do that. I've said it many times. There's no way you can sit here and say that you love God and you and God are on one accord when you disagree with God. Cannot do that. Cannot do that. Right? So for all of that, the Most High started judging our people, and it's messed up because when you read down too, I'll get it real quick. Drop down and read verse 25. It wasn't good enough just that the Most High would have to punish the women, but he said to show you, unfortunately, how wicked the women of Israel got, this was going to be one of the outcomes. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Thy men shall fall by the sword.
I bet y'all never considered that. That due to your sins, other men would have to die. And we see it play out time and time again. And we never know all the workings of the Most High, right? I remember Tazaiwan did that lesson about how blood has to be shed. We don't know who had to lose their life so that we could live. For real, for real. Because some sins you need that blood for, right? And all praise be to Yahweh Shai. But drop down. Actually, that's all I want from there. Let's go to Proverbs 7 and 11. So again, we want to be like those of old time, the holy men and women of the Bible.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 11. She is loud and stubborn.
These are traits of a scorpion, being shaken to and fro. No need to be loud, no need to be stubborn. We're supposed to be quiet and meek, long-suffering and patient, right? Go to Sirach 7 and 26. And you know what the sad part about it is too? Our people have become delusional to where now truth is so offensive that it can't even be received. Somebody can have a horrible track record and, I'm sorry? Yep. our people have become so delusional that now when you actually tell them things that'll be for their benefit, they feel like that you hating and won't receive it. You're like, man, sis, you know what? You're 40. I think you should probably give up the whole dating and the fling thing. You should probably settle down and find you a husband. I don't need no husband, whoopty whoop, because these no good niggas and whoopty whoop whoop. Don't be like that. And what I hate is a lot of the women in the world, they act hard to get when in reality they're hard to want. They be making it seem like they got all this to offer, and it's like reality, I just wanted to hit that. I don't want nothing to do with you after that. That's the mindset of a lot of the men out here, and also the mindset of a lot of the women. They feel like they are the cream of the crop, the top of the pedestal, and they don't get no better than them, when in reality, you're not doing things that's pleasing to the Most High, so how are you going to please me? That's the conversation we got to start having, and that's why I love, shout out to my sister, Selah Soul. It's almost genius what we're doing, right? Because our music that we produce here at True Nation is not quote-unquote preachy, right? It has the effect to where it can be consumed by those in the world. So it's genius, I say that, because we're literally reprogramming our people's minds on what to look for, right? We're telling the women, don't just get you the drug dealer. No, get you a man who keeps the law. We're telling brothers, don't get her just because she got a fat booty. Make sure she's keeping the law. It's like righteous programming. I love it. And it's subtle. It's subtle. And we got to use the same tactics our oppressor used on us. They did things subtly for about 40 years. Now we just seeing it out in the open because the damage has been done. But we want to do that righteous damage, right? So let's read that. Sirach 7:26.
Sirach chapter 7, verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
Right. When you have a wife that's after your mind, that's not no scorpion. That's a virtuous woman. That's a woman who understands the assignment. Because she didn't just give herself to old Joe Schmo. She proved, bro, and said, nah, this is a righteous man who's going somewhere in life, and I want to be a part of that legacy. I don't want to just leech off of it. I actually want to contribute and help build this so that I could be documented in the book with him. Heirs together. So it says, have you a wife after your mind? Go ahead.
Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not.
Forsake her not. You love a woman like that. You cherish a woman like that. Go ahead.
But give not thyself over to a light woman.
Right. And that doesn't mean a skinny or a not heavy person. That means dealing with the mental. Exactly. You can't be no light person. You can't be dumb. Don't give yourself over to a dumb wife. A woman who cannot benefit you in anything. You're asking for a hard life. And unfortunately, like I said, because our standards are so low and we get in these relationships for superficial reasons, that's what a lot of us be having. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, man, everything was all good, but now I realize, man, she can't even boil water. It'd be all bad.
Not water.
It'd be all bad. And it's the same thing for sisters. Don't give yourself over to a light man. It's a lot of good-looking brothers out here. Don't mean they worth nothing. Find you someone who's been tried and proven. Right? Go to Ephesians 4:22 now. We're almost done.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversations.
The former conversation. What was the former conversation like, y'all?
What we doing tonight?
Nonsense. The former conversation was nonsense.
God.
Jace be like, where the weed at?
Where the hoes
at? Where the hoes at? Sisters be like, where the niggas at? I'm trying to give me a ball player. Where the ball is at? The former conversation was vain, y'all. And it's crazy, too, because I find myself more and more having my conversation to do with the Bible. Sometimes I don't want to talk about nothing else. You having them dry moments, let's talk about a scripture you like. And you'll actually see that you start to train your mind to be more willed that way instead of focused on nonsense. I'll be having a hard time, like, I used to be able to occupy myself with, like, just dumb stuff for hours on end back in the day. But now after a couple, I'll be like, man, this is stupid. I'd rather be looking into something else I can actually feed my spirit, feed my soul. Or you know what? I don't feel like looking up. Let me just call it J. Cool. I know we can have a really good conversation. We could talk about a progressive conversation where, you know what? After this phone call, I could be a better man if I apply the stuff he was telling me to do. We got to put off that old conversation so we can have these type of conversations. And especially amongst the women. I know it's easier for brothers to get together and talk for hours on end about building, but when the sisters get fully in tune, like you see about the sisters in the New Testament who cared about the ministry, man, when y'all life, Bishop Bonner, y'all did a beautiful lesson on that. Your life is a ministry. When you fully accept that and take that on, man, the sisters, y'all should be coming together and putting in works too. I'd almost bet that it's easier for y'all to bring in souls than the men. All you got to be is cute and carry yourself in a decent fashion, and you're going to get a whole lot of attention. Shalom, brother. Boom. Serve them. Here you go, that literature. Real talk. Right? But go ahead.
That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt, according to the deceitful lust.
You see, we had deceitful lust. Some people will try to tell you that having lust in general is bad. It's not. You could lust for the fruits of the spirit. A lust is just a strong desire or want. But the thing is, when we was in the world, when we was living under that old man, that old woman, we had deceitful lust. Mm-hmm. Things that we thought was going to be good for us, but we knew in the back of our mind, this is going to destroy me. We knew it too. But you had a whole lot of convincing that you had to go through in yourself, like, nah, it's going to be worth it, though. It's going to be worth it. Matter of fact, it may not even happen that way. Hey, it used to be like that, though, right? It used to be like that, but read on.
23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
You see, that's the thing, being renewed in the spirit of our minds. For real, for real. Changing your mindset. For a lot of things that people do in life, they all, for the most part, say, like, let's just say like a profession. What's like a dope professional job that's super hard to do? I don't want to complicate it. Let's just say skateboarding, right? I used to skateboard heavy. I came across a lot of professionals. Now, these is people, you're throwing yourself off of obstacles to land on other obstacles. When you're looking at it, you never done it, you be like, how? And all of them that I talked to, they said, bro, it's like 20% physical, it's 80% mental. You have to see yourself doing it, and your body will follow. I don't see that working any differently with this truth. If you see yourself, you have that image of that righteous, virtuous person you want to be in your mind, you're going to do the things, and your body's going to follow to get you to where you want to be. But we have to change the way we think about it. Somebody could look at like if we're stuck in between like a river and we got to gap it, right, to save our lives. Somebody could look at it as a scary thing, and somebody could look at it as a comforting thing. It's all mind state. Mm-hmm. I even heard a quote that said, the same water that softened potatoes hardens eggs. So it's not about the circumstances, it's about what you're made of. So when we're taking on these things, we come across obstacles in our life and all these adversities, we just have to change our mind state about it. The way I try to do it just so I can sleep peacefully at night, I either say it's a test or judgment. And either way, I'm worthy of it. I don't even try to stress myself. It's the Most High. Can't get this in order. Like, it's just the Most High. I'm going to pray to the Most High about it. Whenever you see fit, please, hopefully sooner rather than later, if you could fix this out for me. And then not just that, but me, you know what? Man, let me step up my reading. Let me step up my teaching. And actually do things that's pleasing to the Most High so that you could get that favorable outcome that you would like. But it all starts with the mind. You got to change your mindset. Right? Go ahead.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which is after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another.
Exactly. We are members one of another. That's all I needed from there. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 38. And I brought this out for shock value, right? Not to belittle the situation, but I'm bringing this scripture out simply for shock value. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 38.
Second Ezra chapter 9.
How many of y'all are familiar with the prophet Ezra? When y'all get a chance, y'all should read about him. Most High loved this brother. He was a righteous man, right? Go ahead.
Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 38. And when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with mine eyes, and upon the right side I saw a woman, and behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in heart, and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head.
So this woman was going through it. She was in the field hollering, screaming, crying. She had ashes on her head and clothes was rent, in a complete state of lamenting, right? Go ahead.
Then let I my thoughts go that I was in, and turn me unto her.
This brother was in the spirit. He was dealing with the Most High, but he saw this situation. He said, you know what, let me disconnect and go deal with my people real quick. Let me see what's going on with this sister. Read.
And said unto her, wherefore weepest thou? Why art thou so grieved in thy mind?
Now drop down to chapter 10 and verse 3. So just to give you a summary of it, the sister began to explain how she had been married for 30 years, and that whole time she was barren. She could not have kids. And she said all she did them 30 years was fast and pray to the Most High that she could have a kid. She finally ended up having a son. And on his wedding day, he died in the marriage chamber. So she was out there losing it. Like, man, my world is crushed, finished. She's going through it, right? Rightfully so. You done lost your kid that you prayed for and fasted for. It's a sad situation. But read verse 3.
Chapter 10, verse 3. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, to the end I might be quiet. Then rose I up by night, and fled, and came hither into this field, as thou seest.
So she said it was a situation where her family and friends have been trying to calm her down and get her to a space where she was just, cool and like okay and understanding the situation, like he's gone. But she said just when they thought they did that, she crept out in the night and fled away just so she could be out here to do what? Go ahead.
And I do now purpose not to return unto the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn and to fast until I die.
Now, is that going to bring her son back? Unfortunately not. But that was her intent. She said, you know what, man, I'm over life. I can't deal with this. I'm about to just die out here from fasting and starvation. Now, what did he say to her?
Then left I the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying.
He spoke to her in anger. Why do you think this brother got angry with her? We're going to read. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Thou foolish woman.
Woo. Now that's kind of messed up, right? A woman going through all of that, you're going to sit here and call her a foolish woman? That sounds kind of messed up. But let's read.
Thou foolish woman above all other, seest thou not our mourning, and what happened unto us? How that Zion, our mother, is full of all heaviness, and much humbled, mourning very sore?
Read.
And now, seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son?
So why do I bring this out? Because the Most High never checked Ezra for that. He never said he was in sin for doing that. He was telling her it's bigger than you. You got to care about the nation. You sitting here grieving for your one son that's dead. Look at us. We're in captivity. Ezra is during captivity. They wasn't in Israel. He says, sis, as much as I understand you going through it, you need to get over it because you missing the bigger picture. You done lost your son, so now you're going to sit here and kill yourself in this field. You don't see what we all mourning and going through? You could be of much more help teaching the sisters about how to actually get through situations like this. So I bring this out as shock value to say, as a righteous woman, not being a scorpion, you understand that this life is bigger than you. Our foremothers understood how important the ministry was and how important it was for our people, not themselves. That's why Ezra went off. He's like, you're being selfish. I get that your son died, but we've been dying. We're dying because we're in captivity. The Most High is not happy with us. We got to fix this. And he went hard on her. You can only imagine what he was saying. It said he spoke to her in anger. But the moment we do that, we be the bad guys. Bringing out for shock value, it's not always about us being the bad guys. Sometimes when brothers is going in on the wives of Israel, sometimes y'all lose y'all way. But that's what y'all need to get back on track and to get you to understand what this is all about. Exactly. And even for her to say, I'm going to just sit out here and die, the Most High gives us 7 days to grieve for a dead one. If you were somebody of like super important, sometimes they even did it longer. But the Most High said, I'm going to give you 7 days. You can't deter your life off a track because of something that's out of your control. That's why even David, when he got caught up in his sin and his child ended up dying as a baby, he was fasting and all of that while the child was sick. Once the child finally died, it said he started popping out back in public again. And people was asking him like, damn, bro, you good? Like, we ain't seen you in a while. He was like, yeah, I was fasting and praying to the Most High that he wouldn't kill my kid. My son's dead. Nothing I can do about it. The nation is still here and they still need a king. Exactly. So understanding that, a righteous, virtuous woman, she's not selfish. She cares about her people more than herself. Last scripture, Titus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2 and verse 1.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
Sisters, speak the things which become sound, meaning good doctrine. Really learn how to start talking about the scriptures. A lot of sisters probably don't talk as much about the scriptures because y'all don't read them as much. Easy fix. Start reading them. You'll have more to talk about. It's okay not to know everything. I don't know everything. There's still books I haven't even read all the way through. This ain't like a comic book. People be like, I read the Bible. No, this is something you read. You can't just read it. You got to read it. Go ahead.
Verse 2, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience.
And all praise be to the Most High. We see that from our elders. And it gives us something to aspire to be like when we get of age, right? But read.
The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness.
The Most High watches the women of Israel's behavior. He does. We got to make sure that we're giving a good example. We represent the Most High. And the Most High does not like to be made a fool out of. In so much that when you read how Moses was even bargaining with the Most High back in the time of the wilderness, he said, look, if you do this, this, and that, the other nations are going to talk bad about you. He says, you know what, you're right. So when we're on our job, we make the Most High look even better. And it also works the same for a wife to a husband. When you see a stellar woman out there in the streets and then you find out she's married, you be like, damn, I can only imagine what type of husband she got. He got to be on point. Read.
Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things. Before you ever speak, you teach with your actions. The kids are watching. Other women are watching. Read.
That they may teach the young women to be sober.
And then it's actually y'all job to teach the younger women. And it looks different, right? In different things. You have older women who literally are of elder status who can teach. But then sometimes you may have a 30-year-old woman who's been in the truth 20 years. You still got things that you could teach a newer person coming into this truth. Or however long you've been in this truth. You have something to teach somebody. Just make sure that it's good. Go ahead.
To love their husbands.
And to love y'all husbands. We don't want to be a nation of scorpions. We want to have a nation of virtuous women. Read.
To love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home.
To be discreet. You know how many, even married women in Israel today, they want to be seen. That's a red flag. Not to say that she's out here committing adultery or nothing like that, but the fact that you're not pleased with your husband's attention alone is a problem. That is a problem. Sisters be quick to be online talking about no male DMs, but they be the first ones to respond. And then try to ball you out after you play them like, what's up with this? To be discreet. It's not all about what you can show the world that you got. Like, man, be low key. As a woman, that's actually attractive. Right? But go ahead.
To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands.
You see how many times it keeps referring back to the woman and how she deals with her husbands? The Most High is giving y'all the blueprint. Giving y'all the blueprint. If you married a righteous man, 9 times out of 10, he's dope. Our forefathers are righteous, and they weren't cornballs. They weren't corny. They were really dope people to be around. Abraham had so much substance. Him and his brother couldn't even be in the same city. You think it was boring being a wife to that man? No. We out here traveling the world, teaching the Bible. Sisters should be looking at their husbands who's doing these works and be in awe. Like, wow, look at my man. And then knowing that you got a part to play in the salvation that he's going to get because you also helped the ministry, man, that's all the fuel you need for the fire. If you're thinking about it the right way. But if you upset because he ain't bought you no Birkin bag or he ain't took you on no fancy vacation and you making that the priority of y'all's relationship, then you're going to be unhappy forever. And you're going to ultimately be that scorpion. But read on.
That the word of the Most High be not blasphemed.
Exactly. That's the thing. Y'all can't be out here in head wraps, skirts, and dresses with your fringes on, blaspheming the Most High, making them look crazy because you're being out of order. We can't do that. And that's why having our sisterhood is so important, because we mitigate that the more y'all come together and have conversations and start checking stuff. And it's a need for that. Nobody wants to be checked, but everybody want to be perfect. You think Kobe Bryant would have been the man that he was or had the legacy that he had if nobody was talking tough to him at times, or if he didn't have a coach that used to dig in him? It takes that sometimes. You got to be coachable. You got to be open to correction. Right? But read on.
Young men, likewise, exhort to be sober-minded. In all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works.
Right. So, sisters, you guys want to actually be able to show a pattern of good works. You should be able to look back like, man, her tenure here at True Nation, she's been here 7 years. She has good works to show. Good works. The Most High appreciates that. It's like our resume. For real. The more you do, the more stuff you can put on your resume. How much work experience do you have? I got a whole lot, Most High. I was doing this. Right? But go ahead.
In doctrine, showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity.
That's the one thing I wanted to touch on, sincerity. We got to make sure we're sincere. And it comes with a lot of meditation, because when I first came into this truth, and this is just personal, I'm pretty sure everybody got their own walk and how you came to be who you are today. When I first came in, it's not that I was doing it for vainglory, because I didn't care about that. I definitely wanted to be out there street teaching. And I remember, it's funny, even old days POP, we used to be like, man, we're not even bringing the camera out today because we don't even want to be filled with vainglory. We just going to teach. We understand that there's a need for people to see the works that we're doing, though, right? Not a problem. Should we film it now? It's not a problem. But YASHAMI at 19 versus YASHAMI at 27 is two completely different people. Two completely, all praises. Two completely different people, right? And I would definitely say all praise be to the Most High that I'm a lot more sincere now. I was sincere at the start, but now that I have a better understanding of what it is we're actually doing, sincere. I'm at the point now where y'all would know if I didn't want to do this, I would not be here. And that's the thing for most of us. If we didn't want to do it, you wouldn't be here. However, our sincerity don't always be at the top levels that it should be, though. Because when you start, groaning, moaning, complaining, that lets people know that you're not as sincere as you show yourself to be. So we want to make sure that we're being 144% sincere. Be real with yourself so that you could be real for your people. For real, for real. Let's finish that up.
Sound speech that cannot be condemned.
Exactly. Nobody should be listening to the women of Israel talk and be like, damn, that's a Israelite woman? Like that's how God's women talk? And it's a balance because we know cussing is not a sin, but again, it depends on what y'all talking about. Just vulgar stuff, like it's like, nah, that's not for y'all to be saying. Go ahead.
That he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed.
Exactly. Having what?
Having no evil thing to say of you.
Because believe it or not, people are looking for us to fail. They're looking for the moment. Friends and family in the world, they are looking for the moment to be like, see, I know you was full of it. I know the cult you was a part of was full of it. I was waiting. See, look, and they gonna be, look, girl, what she did. They're looking for that moment, but we want to put them to shame by not allowing them to have anything bad to say about how we're acting and how we're, showcasing ourselves. We literally, the Most High called us to be the standard of the world. Did y'all know that? In Deuteronomy 7:6, when he said, I chose you above all other people, he chose us to be the standard of the world. The rest of the nations were supposed to look at us and be like, damn, look at how they operate. I know they got a God that loves them. Only a true God could have people that operate and do things like this. It literally says that in Deuteronomy, I believe, chapter 4. So, with all of that being said, Israel, again, sisters, I'm super proud of y'all, and I'm looking forward to the continual growth that y'all got planned. Make sure that we're etching away at that old person so that we don't be scorpions and that we're making the thing that's vital for our nation to survive, which is marriages, thrive. It's not a good thing to see Israelite marriages and people be like, oh. It's like, damn, we're supposed to be in the truth. We're supposed to know. People in the world be upset because they don't know why their relationships are going down the drain. We know why relationships go down the drain. So why would we continue to practice the things that causes that? It's that simple. All right? So thank y'all for tuning in, Israel. My brother, do you have anything you want to put out before we end?
I'm good. You touched it all.
All praises, all praises. Like I said, we don't want to be continuing the curses. We want to be reversing these curses. And it starts with us so that we could be better for those that come after us. Wives, don't be scorpions. Be the virtuous women. Husbands, don't be the churlish people like Nabal. Right? Stingy, ungrateful. Don't be those type of men. Be righteous men that give the women something to look forward to. Right? It's nothing like having a whole generation of women looking forward to being married to righteous men. People dread marriage today. When marriage is talked about in the world, it sounds like buckle up and get ready to crash. For real. A lot of people ain't been in a marriage, but they'll try to convince you on why you shouldn't be married. That's where we at. Real talk. Well, my great-grandpa, you don't even know the ins and outs of their relationship. Why are you speaking on it? Make sure that you choose right. Make sure that you do what you're supposed to do so that you will have a favorable outcome. All right, Israel? So, again, thank you for everybody who tunes in and supports. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. We also do accept donations. I believe brothers have been putting that up. We do accept donations, so please continue to support us, support Tila. And I guess with that, we're going to sign off. So happy Sabbath, Israel, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.